the new heavyweight champion of the world, el primer campeón latino de peso completo, the Quiet Man, John Ruiz.
So many things that went through my mind at that moment. You know, I wanted to cry, I wanted to be happy, I wanted to celebrate. You know, there's so many things that went through my mind that it was like a relief from all those years, hard work, and it finally just pays off.
When they said, and the new heavyweight champion of the world, that was a high point of my life. You know, just a great feeling. A kid that really deserved it. A kid that was bad-mouthed just kept telling me, just let it go, Stoney, let it go. We'll prove to the world that I can beat everyone out there. And he's on his way.
Following his stunning victory over Evander Holyfield, Chelsea, Massachusetts' favorite son returned home to a hero's welcome.
It was a wonderful feeling. I mean, just coming back home and seeing, you know, all these great faces from the past and some new, and they've been there for me and supporting me all these years, and knowing that finally, you know, we did it. You know, we finally got finally a champion from Chelsea, where he grew up in the city and ran the same streets.
One thing the newly crowned heavyweight champion didn't expect was the reception that was in store for him when he arrived with the belt in hand in his homeland of Puerto Rico.
That trip to Puerto Rico was very unexpected because, you know, I thought, you know, one or two people would be out there, you know, saying hello, and, you know, I never realized it was going to be just, you know, the whole island. My family was there, and my friends, and you know, people I never met. There was people on the road there waving and just waiting for us to go by. It was one of those feelings that, you know, I will always remember. It was fantastic. That's, you know, I can't really explain it how I felt inside. It was a sense of pride of being Puerto Rican.
Tonight, Ruiz carries that pride into the ring for his first fight as world champion. John realizes there'll be a lot riding on this fight. This is his opportunity to show not only his fans, but also his critics exactly what he's made of.
I'm a little frustrated at the fact is that, you know, I'm fighting him for a third time. I honestly feel like I won twice already, and I have to go for a third time just to prove that I'm the champion, because if you ask many people out there, they still think that Holyfield is the champion and I'm the contender. So it's tons of pressure on this fight because, you know, I achieved what I always wanted to do since I was a kid, and become the heavyweight champion. And now the pressure begins where I have to maintain it. You know, I mean, it's easier to get there, and then it's harder to maintain it. And, you know, I just don't want to be a champion where, you know, just gives it up in the next fight.
John Ruiz.
The WBA Heavyweight Championship of the World. Johnny Ruiz defending his title for the first time against Evander Holyfield, who's looking to make history tonight by regaining the heavyweight title for an unprecedented fifth time. If any 39-year-old man can do it, Evander is the guy that could do it. I want to tell you that right now, that this guy has been a sensational champion, and he feels he's going to knock out John Ruiz. If he does it tonight, it will be sensational because it's in the backyard. Well, we're going to recap the first two fights. We've got a feature on the first two fights. Ruiz, Holyfield, 1 and 2. Let's go to our feature and show you how we got here.
The vacant WBA Heavyweight Championship of the world.
Well, one thing for sure, if Johnny Ruiz is destined to win the World Championship tonight at the WBA, he's going to have to beat one of the great warriors of all time. The only question about Evander, is it tonight that he begins to show age, or does he have 1, 2, or maybe 3 more spectacular performances? Let's see if that jab of Ruiz can be effective against Evander Holyfield. Johnny digging hard, working hard in the early going. Comes the body of Evander Holyfield.
Use that jab now. This round is going to split. That jab is good. You're hitting a big time with that jab.
Evander's getting a little bit busy here in the second round. He caught Johnny with the left hand. Johnny able to gobble it up. Comes back and hits Evander with the right hand. Again to drop his left hand that time. Johnny right up top of the boy. This kid came to fight.
3-punch combination. Hit him 2 good shots in the body, 1 to the head.
Now Evander control with a straight right hand. Nice uppercut by Holyfield. Holyfield up on the top. Loaded up a shot. He hurt Johnny. Johnny's hurt. He's trying to hang on. He's out on his feet. Evander hurt him, and he knows it.
Johnny, please move. Please move on this guy.
Straight left hand, left hook. Ruiz comes back, he can hit, and Evander counter with another shot that hurt him. Ruiz got that right hand up to avoid that, but how about this jab by Evander?
Every time you go to the body, you hurt him. He cries like a baby to the referee. You gotta fight. You gotta fight.
But Johnny's got to fire. He's got to fire and try to finish this thing strong. Instead, it's Evander who's throwing the blows. Evander trying to take him out.
Now the four-time heavyweight champion of the world, Evander Holyfield.
Now the action picks up. Jump nailed him with the right hand. Uppercut inside. It's a tough, hard fight inside. Evander tries to crack him down with a chopping blow. Then comes to the uppercut. And Johnny wanted to go power. He fires. Look at these guys. Whoa, how about that?
Walk into him, John. You're throwing slow punches. You gotta go fast. Use your jab.
John Ruiz may be cut, and he's complaining about a headbutt of Evander Holyfield, and Johnny hits cut in the forehead. Look at this. Ruiz says, okay, let's let it go. Look at that face. Evander has an adrenaline flow right now, like he wants to end it. But a nice left hand and a right hand lands like John Ruiz. They're just letting it go right now. Oh, right hand got him on the jaw, but didn't shift Holyfield. Did he hurt him? John trying to take him out. Evander, maybe not. He looks like he's ready to go. Only a few seconds left. He definitely did hurt Holyfield, but not enough to drop him. He's saying it's a low blow. He's taking a point away. Now there's a low blow. And now he takes a point away. Joe just says, keep him up.
Ronnie, you ever hear the same championship round? This is it. We got 2 more rounds. You gotta continue doing what you were doing the round before he get all those theatrics.
Don Curtis said to Evander, you gotta turn it up just one more notch. You gotta do what you've done so many times before. How bad do you want this thing? Big right hand. Big right hand. Sends Evander Preston. His legs are gone. He's caught. Johnny will be on top of him now. There's the right hand. And maybe on the free Evander. As he rides on and drives into the round. Ruiz is all over. Holyfield heading out the field. Holyfield just heading on. Ruiz nails him. How about the heart of the champion? Ruiz is all over. Where does this guy muster on the energy and strength? Ruiz nails him with a left hook. The right hand. Evander still throwing shots. With 14 seconds to go. 13 seconds. 11. 10 seconds to go. Are we going to have a new champion? Ruiz finished strong. And Ruiz will win the final round of the fight. And maybe the title.
And the new heavyweight champion of the world, el primer campeón latino de peso completo, John Ruiz.
Sensational stuff, and this will be the 3rd match in 16 months between the heavyweights, with each fighter, as you just saw, having won at their previous meetings. Holyfield's record, as you look at the tail of the tapes, a sensational record over the years, 4 world titles. Johnny Ruiz a half-inch shorter, 23 pounds heavier, the heaviest he's been in any of the trilogy. At 232, he was 227 and 224. As you look at the particulars in the metric system, they have the exact same reach. Johnny Ruiz, the big factor, 10 years younger than the brilliant Evander Holyfield. This fight will be contested by the uniform rules of boxing. It's the 10-point must scoring system. No standing A count, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round, and only the referee can stop the fight. And in case of an accidental head foul or any type of a foul, it'll go to the scorecards after the 4th round of the fight. And by the way, we've talked about everything Here comes the real deal, Evander Holyfield. Let's talk about Holyfield. 3 times, and then the 4th time, he won the World Championship. He won the undisputed title from Buster Douglas, lost it to Riddick Bowe, came back against Bowe, lost it to Michael Mora, beat Mike Tyson for the WBA, lost that title to Lennox Lewis, and then beat Ruiz with a vacated WBA title to win the championship for the 4th time. This is only the 2nd time in boxing history, and you got to go back to Floyd Patterson and Ingemar Johansson from 1959 to 1961, where there have been 3 consecutive world title fights with the same guys fighting each other. Remember, this man is a 4-time world champ. The great Muhammad Ali and the President Lennox Lewis have held the title 3 times. Evander's the only 4-time heavyweight champion, and tonight, history will be made as he seeks his 5th heavyweight world title. But even as Evander put it, if I win this, I got to win the undisputed title after that, which I suppose would be just, phenomenal to end his career. That's what it's all about for him, pride. But for the next guy that's coming up, it's a whole different kettle of fish. He's fighting for the very existence of his family. He's pumped up. He's in his own backyard. Here he comes, Johnny Ruiz. Ruiz, 37-4. Responded with great confidence when they split off Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas to win the title in March. Johnny Ruiz must avoid the left hooks and the head coming in of Evander Holyfield. We've documented how the corners do not like each other. We've documented the abilities of Johnny Ruiz. It'll take all he has to beat the great but aging champion Evander Holyfield tonight. He's aware of it. He knows that Holyfield will try to knock him out in the first 2 or 3 rounds of this fight. Remember, in the first fight, he had him down in the 2nd round of the fight, and in the last fight, it was Johnny Ruiz who had Evander down in the 11th round of the fight. So both of them have flowed the opponent during the course of the trilogy. Here's Jimmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to Foxwoods Resort and Casino here in Mashantucket, Connecticut. It's time for the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Don King Productions in association with Foxwoods Resort and Casino, HBO Sports, and Budweiser, the undisputed king of beers. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the World Boxing Association President Gilberto Mendoza, Supervisor Bolivar Icaza, along with the Athletic Commission of the Mashantucket Pequot Tribal Nation, the Chairman Joey Carter, Vice Chairman Richard Butler, Executive Director Joe Letelier, and Commissioner Peter Timothy. Introducing our 3 judges scoring this bout from ringside, we have from Brick, New Jersey, Tommy Kazmarek, from West Nyack, New York, Julie Letterman, and from Port Charlotte, Florida, Don O'Neill. And the 3rd man of the ring, our referee in charge, working in this his 95th world title bout, Steve Smoker. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing for the main event of the evening. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Foxwoods Casino, it's time for the WBA Heavyweight Championship of the World. Introducing to you first the challenger on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing purple trunks, fighting out of and representing his hometown of Atlanta, Georgia. His weight, 219 pounds. His record, 37 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw, 25 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Having held the heavyweight title an unequaled 4 times, he is known as one of boxing's great warriors. Here is the former undisputed cruiserweight world champion and the former 4-time heavyweight champion of the world. Please welcome tonight's challenger, introducing Evander, the real deal, Holyfield. And in
his opponent across the ring on my left, fighting out of the red corner, the defending world champion, wearing black trunks, hailing from Chelsea, Massachusetts, by way of Sabana Grande, Puerto Rico. His weight, 232 pounds. His record, 37 wins, 4 losses, 27 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, he is making the first defense of his title. The man who made boxing history as the first Latino to capture the heavyweight crown. Here is el primer campeón latino de peso completo. Please welcome the WBA heavyweight champion of the world, known as the Quiet Man, introducing Johnny Ruiz. Once again, a referee in charge, Steve Smoker.
Gentlemen, obey the rules, protect yourself, obey my commands. God bless touch gloves. Touch them. Thank you.
Well, there's no question, Carl King, who this crowd is for. This is electricity, isn't it?
At its highest voltage level, I can tell you that. This is a pro-Ruiz crowd, and it's going to be a phenomenal fight. I got bumps all over me.
Well, I'll tell you this, it could be quick if Evander gets lucky, because he's going to come out bombing for the opening seconds. Johnny Ruiz knows that Evander is coming after him, and he better be ready early. We'll see what happens as Evander Holyfield will attack Johnny Ruiz immediately. We're waiting for round one. Here we go, Steve Smoker. The referee signals, and here we go. It's Ruiz who gets up first. Evander ties him up and tries to spin him in. Watch the head of Evander Holyfield. Watch the elbows. Very cautiously to separate. Johnny attacks. He's not afraid of this guy, but Evander is out. Evander stares into the eyes of the champion. He's been here so many times before. 4-time world heavyweight champion. You see the elbows inside by Evander. Johnny bangs him inside to let him know, I'm not going to take it. He's got to be careful. The sneaky right hand and the left hook of Evander, and he ties up. They're both a bit cautious now.
And they're a bit anxious, too.
Very anxious. It's round one. This is the heavyweight championship of the world. Evander did try to load up the right hand, and now they're tied up with the opposite sides as they bang with the opposite hand. Smoker has to separate the two. Evander gets caught with the right hand coming in. He's back at his heels. Johnny's got to be careful. He's inside and make sure he has that left hand tied up. And I'll tell you this, Norman Stone did the exact right thing. He's got him tying those arms up when he comes in so he doesn't get hit with an elbow. Sneaky right hand lead by Johnny. It's an interesting first round, a lot different than I thought it was going to be. Oh, down goes Johnny. That's going to be scored. No, he sways it off. He tripped over the leg of Evander, and I thought when he hit him he was going to score a knockdown, but Smoker was right on top of him. A little bit of a break there for John Ruiz in the early going, and Evander did clip him. At least Johnny realizes he's got to be cautious, because Evander does possess considerable power still.
I just want to know, Colonel, who called this a boxing match?
39 years of age. The real deal is a real warrior, and you won't ever see in your lifetime, folks, a more conditioned 39-year-old body than Evander Holyfield. But it's his timing that isn't quite what it used to be, and Johnny's going to try and capitalize on that. He bangs inside. Evander grabs the outstretched left hand of Johnny Ruiz. This is a tough first round to score.
I tell you what, Colonel, it looks like Evander, I don't think his excitement level is unparalleled. His anxiousness, his willingness to go and try to determination to knock Johnny Ruiz out early is really showing on his face in this fight. This is
He's hit the elbow with his face, Carl, and Steve Smoker says, hold it. I'm not going to pull up with it. He says, stop holding, and he tells Evander to watch the elbow. So he warns both fighters. Both guys are very cautious in the early going. And again, Evander pushes him on. And Evander is complaining about Johnny holding. And you hear Steve Smoker say, Johnny, stop holding. That's what he wants to do, though. He doesn't want to give Evander any chance to load up inside. Because Evander early is dangerous inside. And Johnny knows it.
It looks like his determination is unparalleled right now, Evander Holyfield. He seems to be very focused on doing his job tonight, and it's Johnny's job to keep him from doing what Evander wants to do. This is a real fight.
Now, that's a very close round, and that could go either way. I I just don't know how to score that round, Carl. He's got to get to that jab and keep Evander off him. He's got to stick and move, do exactly what his corner told him. Instead, Evander gets off the first shot of the second round. Evander right now is very dangerous. Nice stiff jab by John. And that's what his corner wants. John makes him miss, digs to the body, back him standing the shot, and he ties up Evander's hands, and Evander doesn't like it.
Step out.
Steve Smoke, a very good referee, saying break and don't punch. So we don't have any illegal elbows or any illegal shots by either fighter yet.
Smoke is going to have his hands full to keep this fight under control and keep it clean. That's for sure.
Yes, he will. And Johnny, I made a mistake there, actually. He's got to be firing when he comes in because Evander still has the hand speed to catch him with either the left hook or the right hand. So John right here should be firing, not standing there.
Exactly.
And he does fire, but then he grabs on.
Step.
Johnny knows
Hands
that. His
up,
corner
coming out.
told him that. Jab, and then move.
That's right.
He's waiting now, Carl. This is dangerous.
That's right. It's far too dangerous. He needs to use that stiff jab that Gabe was telling him in between rounds, Colonel.
Don't punch.
This is grappling. John Ruiz hanging in there with one of the great heavyweight champions of all time. He's the heavyweight champ defending his title. First Latino ever to capture. Big left hook upstairs. Evander not landing anything in the early going here in the second round. He's a bit cautious. I expected to see him open up heavier as half the second round has gone by. John has got to keep that jab in the face, and he's not doing it right now.
No, it's not. And I think these guys are throwing bombs.
Well, he's trading with Evander. That's a battle he's going to lose. That's a mistake.
It is a mistake, and he needs to do what Gabe LaMarca told him in between rounds, is use that stiff jab, and then hold, then move, then get out of the way.
He can trade with Evander later on in the fight, but trading early is a mistake. Johnny bangs him hard inside. Evander knows exactly the strategy he wants. Just a little half step to the right and fire the right hand. I'll come back with that straight left in the face of John. But John has got to keep that left pumping, and he's not doing it. He's letting Evander close the distance.
Yeah, that's not a good thing for Johnny Ruiz to do right now. He needs to use the jab itself. He needs to put pressure on all of it. He needs to get him winded. He needs to get him in a real fight and take him down and use them legs.
Exactly, Carl. He's going to hold his own until he try to drag him into the 6th and 7th round and open up a little bit more. Don't trade now.
No.
And he did a good job that time. Evander in the old days would have landed that right hand, but John was able to catch it and parry it off with his own left hand.
Well, I don't think there's a 39-year-old any better than Evander anywhere on planet Earth.
And never has been, for that matter.
Probably never will be.
But this could be Ruiz's round because I don't think that Evander's throwing enough punches to win this round. Evander comes back. There's a little bit of a low blow at the bell. Boy, oh boy. Johnny caught him right at the bell on the offside of Steve Smoker. He snuck one in there.
Yeah, he sure did. He caught him twice, as a matter of fact. We may capture it on the replay. We'll see. This is Holyfield's corner. Let's see what
Give me some Vaseline. Give me some Vaseline. Tim's got it over. Give us some Vaseline.
That's Don Turner working on him.
Combinations. Don't
A little bit slow.
You gotta throw combinations, baby. You gotta throw combinations.
Don
Bing,
Turner,
bing,
Kenny
bing,
Welton,
bing, bing, bing.
Jim Strickland. This is a replay.
Yeah, now you can see that here's Evander on the attack, Johnny coming back. It's just these guys have, it looks like a strong dislike for each other. These guys are just wailing at each other, Colonel. They're going to the body, they're wrestling. And this is the same action from a different angle. There you see Evander on the hunt. Johnny fights back. Boy, these guys are really giving it their all. And these are very dangerous rounds for both guys right now.
Evander looks heavy in his legs to me, and he looked winded in between, but he's still dangerous this early. John trying to kind of bring him in without throwing that jab. He's got to do that. As long as he has that jab in Evander's face, he has Evander's timing off. See, is right there and get out of there.
Exactly.
Reset and come back in.
And he needs to take him. He needs to get him winded. He needs to get him tired. The heavier the legs become on Evander, the better shot Johnny has to win. So he needs to get him in that water right now.
Don Turner will talk about the half step that Evander will take outside the shoulders of John and get his angle. John's going to do the same thing and not allow Evander to do that. But right now, they're both right in front of each other. This is just a pure signal. They're testing each other, and I think that's a mistake for Johnny Ruiz because Evander's still dangerous right now. He can wear him down but he's dangerous right now. John is going to be jabbing and throwing every time he gets in there. John's showing some toughness here, though. I like that.
You're seeing a lot of machoism in effect right now. Neither guy's willing to back up. Either guy's willing to give up. They want to just meet right there and give it their all.
I see a nice shot missed by Evander. Evander right on top of John. John ties him up. You know, the timing of Evander is slightly off, and John's going to capitalize on that. I mean, this is timing that wouldn't have been off 4 or 5 years ago. This is the slight little things that age steals, but he's so dangerous and so experienced, he can adjust so well to an opponent that Evander is a very dangerous fighter.
And these guys know each other very, very well in the ring. They've done, this is, I guess, the 27th straight round without any intervening matches that these guys have been faced with each other. So they know each other well, and I think that they know exactly what to do to win.
John can't lose concentration. He's got a jab when he closes the distance. He does that time. He ducks away from Evander's chopping right hand. So he's got to get that jab in and throw some more right hands. Johnny's not throwing enough right hands now either. Evander's trying to time on his. That's a nice combination by Ruiz inside. He bangs him behind the ear. I tell you this, Ruiz is not taking any dirty tactics from Holyfield. And Holyfield's cleanliness in the ring has been questioned. Nice hook and ties up Evander. Right now I'd say that the strategy that the corner of Ruiz has worked out is working.
And you know, these guys are not giving an inch. And this, to me, I think, the further the fight goes along, will be to the advantage of John Ruiz.
Absolutely. He's 29, and the aging former great champ Holyfield is 39 years old. There's a nice stiff jab in the face. See, this wouldn't be happening a few years ago, and Ruiz able to capitalize on it.
But he should take a little more advantage of this right now, and he could probably do a little better if he does take advantage. He's just a half a step off of really nailing it.
Well, Evander banged both sides of the body, but I think Johnny may have out-hustled him here in the third round. I want to give that round to Ruiz.
I think you're right on that one, Colonel. Good fight, in spite of the naysayers.
Well, it's a tactical fight. It's more of a tactical fight than we thought.
Hey, there's Isaac Hayes, you know, Black Moses. Tell you, we had one of the hottest albums out about 30 years ago called Hot Buttered Soul. He's a great guy.
And there's all kinds of celebrities here at ringside. Owner of the New England Patriots football team, I saw him over there. Boston Red Sox are here. You people listening and watching around the world wouldn't know some of these names, but they're huge celebrities here. Carl?
I tell you what, there's some action from the last round. And I mean action, folks. Look at this. There's the left. These guys are not giving ground to each other. They're wailing away. And you can see a lot of these punches are not really landing. There's not really, these guys just going after each other without a lot of technique and form. But
therefore, it's difficult to score as we go to the fourth round. Bob Sheridan, Carl King, we're at Foxwoods Resort and Casino, in one of the largest casinos and one of the smallest venues since Lewiston, Maine. This is round number 4. John Ruiz must maintain his concentration and composure. Evander has been here so many times in his career. 4-time world heavyweight champ. Johnny throwing some real stinging hooks there that caught Evander high in the head here in the early going in the fourth round.
I got to tell you, though, Steve Smoke has done an excellent job thus far, you know, because this is a very difficult fight to referee.
Yeah, he's doing a real nice job, and, you know, he's a judge in real life. I mean, a court judge, so he knows how to maintain control, yeah.
Well, you hear them chanting now.
You hear them chanting, Johnny, Johnny, trying to inspire the local favorite son, John Ruiz, who most of his life, in spite of the fact he's Puerto Rican born, lived in Chelsea, Massachusetts, and Methuen, Massachusetts, about 100 miles from here, and they're out in mass here to see John Ruiz. Evander clipped him a couple of times inside there. John doesn't throw the jab, and Evander closes the gap. John has got to throw, and he's got to throw more right hands. Evander comes to the uppercut. Johnny back with a hook. Round 4 action, picking up a bit here now. The aging warrior, the young champion, bangs Holyfield with the right hand behind the ear, but it takes no effect. Evander looks like he's heavy in the thighs to me right now, I'll be honest. He misses the shot. You see the timing just slightly off by Evander, and Johnny has got to capitalize on it. You know, 5 or 6 years ago, Evander wouldn't be missing those shots, and John Ruiz would be in more trouble than a tightrope walking in a windstorm.
That's no kidding. I tell you, these guys, I don't think that neither one of these guys has settled down into their fight yet, Colonel.
See that elbow of Evander on the ear of John on the far side from the referee? Evander is slick. John covers up nice with the right hand as Evander. Nice uppercut by Evander. John stands and slugs with him. He caught him with a nice uppercut, but John shows his conditioning as he comes back with the right hand. Evander tries to slip away, and he does. Johnny lets him walk in. He's got a jab. He can't let Holyfield walk in like that.
That's right. He needs to fire back right now, Colonel. He needs to get it back under control.
Well, Evander scored a big uppercut, but John came back with the right hand of his own. Johnny looks a little sloppy right now, a little loose in the knees to me right now, and he's back on his heels. This is a Holyfield round, I think.
This is just a tough fight. I mean, these guys can do this 100 times, and I don't think you ever see it any differently than we've seen it already in the first two, and now in the third round of this fight, fourth round.
Well, Evander landed that uppercut, and he tries to go for it again, but John's not there. He bangs the body, but Johnny not landing enough in this round. Evander outworking him in the fourth round. That's a Holyfield round.
Yes. Well, look at the crowd. They're going nuts. This is a great fight.
Hey, we had the first round even, which the judges probably don't. Other than that, it's a dead even fight because I've got a Ruiz 39 and Holyfield 38. But we gave the first round even, and I know for a fact that Tommy Kazmarek will not score an even round, nor will Julian Letterman. I don't know about Donald O'Neill from Florida, but I guarantee you those two judges will not score an even round. So this may be a dead even fight. I don't know.
Could very well be. Here, let's take a look at this. Here's you're going to see the uppercut that Holyfield landed in the last round here. These guys are in close, giving it all they got. And right there, vicious right uppercut, right on the button. Johnny Ruiz can ill afford for that to continue to happen. And as you can see it, here we go. As you can see these guys in the clinch, boom, there it is from another angle. It's really a tough fight, folks. These guys are really giving it their all.
Here we go, round number 5. As you see that uppercut again, back to live action now as Holyfield comes off his stool, up on his toes a little bit more. Johnny bobs down to the left. You want to make sure that he isn't dropping his chin down to the left and have Evander coming with a right uppercut at the same time.
I agree.
He'd be better off throwing one.
I think Johnny's throwing less punches than he did in the first two fights. It appears to me at this stage. I think he needs to pick the pace up a little bit and throw a little more punches and turn this thing around in his favor.
Well, going into the fight, we talked about that John has got to be cautious in the first 2 or 3 rounds. He survived 4. He bangs Holyfield with the left hand there, and that's what he's got to do, get the jab in and get out of there. This Holyfield missing with the right hand. That's age.
Yes,
those are punches that I don't want to play down the aging former heavyweight champion in Holyfield, but his timing is not what it once was, and it can't be with the amount of difficult wars that he's had in his career. But he still has enough to beat Ruiz if Ruiz isn't very careful.
And it's, right now, everyone in this arena is on edge right now because of that exact possibility that you just mentioned. This fight can end at any given moment.
Johnny's not opening up enough now. He digs downstairs to the body of Evander. Neither guy really opening up here in the 5th round, but Evander got off first in that last exchange, and he gets off first again. John can't allow that to happen. He's waiting. Evander landed 3 jabs. They didn't hurt John. That's a left hook by Johnny Ruiz.
Don't punch.
But Johnny could utilize his left jab more to set the right hand and left hook to follow up a little better. That's what Evander's doing. If you pay attention, he uses his jab, he fires the right hand and tries to finish with the left hook.
But you see, the problem is that Evander skips out off the shoulder of John, and John's very cautious about getting hit by that left hook. That's why his right hand is high, and he's got to throw it almost sneakily unless he lands a real good jab and get Evander back in the field and then fire it.
See, that's when he was been leaning over like his evidence. What gets nailed with the right uppercut in the last round, but that right uppercut's a dangerous punch to throw because it can be countered viciously by a left hook.
We're in the final minute of this 5th round, and John has not coming forward like landed a nice punch that time. And now this round is ever so close.
This is just I wouldn't want to be anyone around this ring that has to score this fight. This is just a tough fight to score.
But it's also a tough fight if it continues this way, where it can be controversial because the judges will see it different ways. Nobody's winning these rounds convincingly.
Exactly. But I tell you, it's this fight, if these guys can sustain this kind of pace, my hat's off to both guys, and especially to the 39-year-old great warrior, Evander.
Well, I will promise you that Holyfield can't continue this pace for 12 rounds. He's got to do it now. He's got to do it in the middle rounds. Bit of the timing that's off because of the difficult fights, the age of Holyfield. And John is going to try to pick up the pace on the pace right now. Anytime Ruiz does anything, the crowd really springs to life here. There's an anticipation and an electricity in this crowd that you don't see a lot of fights. It's a small arena, but a very vociferous arena, to say the least. Johnny continues to back off, Carl.
Well, he's landing a stiff jab to start this round off with. And then Evander's trying to throw the big, mean right hand. And these guys are just, they know each other. They're very, very familiar with each other. And it's going to be like this, I think, all night.
I don't like to see any fighter back straight up. He's got to circle more and be more definitive. Plant the back foot, get back in there and engage Evander. Evander's trying to out-hustle him. And John is a little bit sluggish right now, which I'm surprised. See that shoulder come forward by John? Smoke has a good look into his eyes.
Well, you know, back in the press conference, Gabe, Mark percentage to be best defense is an offense.
Well, that offense is pretty good by Evander, because he cracked John with a good right hand. The best right hand that he's landed. And right now, Johnny better do something and land something, because Evander's in a position right now that he can capitalize in this 6th round. John doesn't look great to me tonight with the way Evander is fighting him. I don't know what it is, but he doesn't look aggressive enough to me right now, Carl. And I know that maybe they hold him back to the next couple of rounds, but John can't let rounds slip away.
No,
Evander's beating him clearly in these rounds.
Yes.
This is a definitive Holyfield round to this point halfway through.
I know you got to wonder if it's the weight. Ooh, these guys are really nailing each other. But that weight factor could be something that's the heaviest as he's been in the trilogy, as you said earlier. But these guys here, I'll tell you what, this is just a tough pace for any one of these guys to keep up.
Well, that is a stiff jab, and that's a jab and the hook that he's got to land. And meanwhile, he doesn't want to get clipped by the left hook of Evander or the right hand. He catches that one. He's keeping that shoulder. He's not getting squared up, getting caught squared up, and he's keeping that left shoulder forward, which is good by Johnny. And I just think Johnny needs to be more aggressive right now.
Well,
Evander's still forcing the fight, Carl.
I think Johnny's jabbing it and he's dipping over, and he's saying that's when Evander's hitting him with the left hook underneath the body or to the head.
Now, John has landed 3 pretty good left hooks in this round, which has got this thing a little bit closer than I thought it was going to be. John doesn't want to stay on the ropes here. He's got to get done. Boy, that one whistled past the nose. As John loads up the combination, and Evander's able to gobble it up with 27 seconds to go in the 6th. The crowd gets into it, tries to chant Johnny to fire him up.
This is just the type of fight, folks, that you see two guys trying to give it their all for the most coveted prize in sports.
Well, let me tell you, this isn't the world for the first 6 that the first 2 fights would be. This is a much more strategic fight than the first 2 to this point.
Exactly, and that's because of the first 2, though, Carl.
I think Holyfield won that round.
Just might have. This is there's some of the members of the crowd. I tell you what, we got a jam-packed auditorium here.
His daughter's godfather, Wayne Newton's here.
Yeah, you know, he's here in the crowd. I tell you what, it's just a special night for all of us.
Well, I've got this fight scored 58-57 in favor of Ruiz, but I scored the first round even. It could be a dead even fight after 6. Remember what we said when Evander Holyfield fought a guy by the name of Lennox Lewis, and we had close rounds. As you see the big right hand by Evander that really shook Johnny. Remember we said after 6 rounds in that the fighters have a responsibility to win rounds convincingly. The only 2 real convincing rounds I've seen are the Holyfield 4th and 6th.
Yeah, exactly, and that's something that got to be picked up. Even Ruiz's corner seems a little bit quieter tonight. So that, you know, Johnny has to pick that up. And I'm sure Sony and the guys are going to get it together. But Don Turner and those guys on that side are doing an excellent job as well.
And finish to, absolutely, and finish to Evander Holyfield. Johnny hasn't won any round really convincingly.
Got nailed to Colonel Johnny did.
And this is very early in the 7th round with Holyfield forcing the fight.
Good right hand that landed by Evander.
Remember, Evander trained at 11:30 last night. It's now on the East Coast of the United States of America, about 12 to 13 minutes after midnight here. I don't know if John did that, but I know that Evander was training till midnight last night. So John it looks a little off to me right now in the 7th round low. I got him ahead in the fight, but Evander coming on.
His legs look a little heavy, but I tell you what, what's really unusual about the 11 o'clock training is it was the night before the fight. Most guys do not do anything the day before the fight.
Look at the way Evander's forcing the fight. He's coming forward. He looks like he's at a second shift. He looks like he's on cruise control. And John lands a big hook, and that's all he's done. He's landed 3 or 4 times in each round, and I don't know if that hook is enough to give him these rounds. This fight is so close.
It's very, ever so close. But what I think Johnny needs to do is speed it up, fire a few more shots to get Evander a little more winded, a little more tired, because right now he looks very comfortable where he's at.
Well, that was good there. John beat Evander to the punch there. He was short with a couple of jabs. You heard Norman Stone, he'll cut that distance down and throw, and that's what he must do. They're posturing, a lot of posturing here. That time he showed his hand speed of Evander. He get the left hand off. But you know what this is? This is a series of mini fights.
Exactly.
You know, it's a series of getting the jabs, of getting reset. Evander can say, Johnny ties him up, the long looping right hand. And John will come with the left hook, and then he'll go with the straight right hand. Watch for the left hook here now. Evander, meanwhile, tries to stop him with a left hook of his own. Evander skipping forward. Johnny would like to time that. He did with the right hand that time, but didn't quite catch Evander.
See, he got to get a little more busier to make that punch effective. If he's a little more busier than what he's been, that punch should land.
Well, while Evander forced the first 2 minutes of this round, John has picked up the pace a little bit in the last about 20 seconds of this round. John doesn't seem as fired up as he was.
No, he doesn't. He looks a little flat right now. And I got to tell you what, Colonel, that's all credited to Evander Holyfield, because he's on top of his game tonight.
Yeah, he is. For a 38-year-old former great champion. Very good.
Tell you what, these guys are really giving it their all.
Evander out hustling him right now. He's going to pick up the pace, does John Ruiz. And Norman Stone will tell him that. Mark my words.
Well, this is some kind of fight. Look at these guys. And this is the thing that tires you out. These are the types of maneuvers that tire you out. That wrestling, both guys have got to be tired. This could be a war of attrition as it ends up, as the first two did. We'll see how it goes from here.
There's another round. Who do you give that to?
Listen, don't even ask me.
Listen, champ. Just be Joe Frazier the rest of the way, man.
Let's take here's some action from the last round. You see Holyfield on the offensive, John on the defensive, and as we quoted Gabe LaMarca earlier this week, is at the best defenses and offense, but yet Johnny's not doing that tonight.
Combination, that's plain and simple.
Well, you hit on Curtis.
Bing.
More combination. Somebody in the corner said, "Be Joe Frazier the rest of the way out." I couldn't make up my mind in the 7th round. So this is a fight where I get 2 rounds even, and I know the judges aren't going to have even, and I still have Ruiz slightly up in front. But you know what? We could be being influenced by this crowd and the enthusiasm here that's for John Ruiz. This fight is actually too close, too complicated to call.
Exactly, and you alluded to this early, Colonel. You said there's only been a couple of definitive rounds, and those were Holyfield rounds. But that's any indication how the scoring goes in this Holyfield fight. But on the other hand, if you see anything else, you see both guys are getting in the heat of battle, and Johnny's landing left hooks, and he might be landing enough to twist some of those rounds now.
Well, it's time John turns up the heat on Evander, or Evander's going to lull him to sleep with that left jab, right hand. John has a look of concern on his face as Evander beats him to the punch with the left hand. He's beating John Ruiz to the punch right now. He's making John Ruiz the very average right now. And remember, Evander Holyfield, one of the all-time greats, he digs a hard shot to the body of John Ruiz.
Well, you kind of wonder, sometimes you don't wake up a sleeping giant, and I'm not so sure that's what happened the other day here. You let a sleeping giant lie.
Well, Evander is still out hustling him here in the 8th round as far as I can determine in this round. A big shot landed, the left hook, right hand by Evander, and Evander hurt Johnny Ruiz. Now, Ruiz in such magnificent shape 10 years younger. That's the 3rd time that's happened in the fight.
And it was a great three-punch combination as well.
Maybe it's awakened John Ruiz. Evander loads up the right hand again, which cracks the left side of the jaw off John Ruiz.
These guys are really going at it. And you see what I'm talking about, the tugging and the wrestling. It's got to be wearing both guys out. But the younger men should be winning those wars.
Well, Evander's had a really good and another definitive 8th round. John has done some nice things, but Evander's done more nice things. Johnny's legs look weak right there as Evander pushed down on him. Steve Smolder warns him about pushing down like that. Done a nice job keeping this pretty clean to this point.
Steve Smolder's done an excellent job.
Don't punch.
I think Johnny right now, Colonel, has to throw more punches to get back into this and stay further ahead in this, whichever way it's going.
Hands are free, go ahead.
Now the pace picks up a little bit, but Evander still is getting off now. John is going to land something heavy. Evander's going to walk away with this fight. I'm going to tell you. Evander's still winning this round.
You're right. He's winning the mini wars each round. That's what's going on. The little flurries of action of Holyfield has it slightly better doing those little mini wars.
When you talk about the mini wars, Evander's won about 5 or 6 of the mini wars. The little quick 3-punch, 4-punch combination. And then, this is a clear Holyfield round. That's the best round for Holyfield of the fight.
Exactly.
And he may be taken away from John right now.
And it looks like both guys are giving it their all, but both guys must be exhausted. They're giving it all they got, and they're resting, they're tired.
Well, again, the 8th round definitively for Holyfield, the 6th round definitively for Holyfield, the 4th round definitive for Holyfield. Let's listen to him.
Countering you with the right hand. You gotta move. You're moving the wrong way. Come on, let's go. Fight like a champion.
Let's here's some action, Colonel. This is Evander on the attack. He's firing these combinations. That was that 3-punch combination that we thought might have shaken Johnny. It doesn't look like it. The eyes didn't look like they were too bad. And here's the same 3-punch combination from a different angle. But those are the mini wars that we're talking about that occurred 2 or 3 times in each round, and Evander Holyfield's having it his way during the course of the
Well, it's championship time now, Carl. It's time for Ruiz to open up or fold up. I mean, that's all it is to it.
You're right.
He can't continue to fight it the way he's fighting.
No.
He's got to open up and take these last 4 rounds. If Holyfield, well, I didn't even want to speculate. He's got, both guys need all these rounds.
That's right.
And all 4 of them.
Whatever the score is, I tell you what, it's all 10-9s, and they're all real close 10-9s.
Good. Very good. Watch your heads coming in now. Watch your heads.
I mean, it's starting to think split decision, draw. And then again, I had 2 even rounds where I couldn't make up my mind, and it could be, as much as 2 points or 3 points one way or the other. That's how close the rounds have been, with the exception of the 3 definitive Holyfield rounds. And this one with the spit plan again, as Evander hits John, doesn't help John's cause.
No, it doesn't. And this is not a fight of technique, of fundamentals. This is just a flat-out fight, a dog fight.
Johnny Ruiz looks flat to me. I don't know what it is, but he's just not getting on.
Okay, warning in this fight.
Steve Smolder warned Evander about the low blow.
That's a good combination. Looks like
Punch him here.
And remember, in the last fight, Johnny was in a heap of trouble, got hit with a borderline low blow, and that changed the course of the fight. Because when he came back, he was much stronger after he breathed it. It didn't help Evander, and he knocked Evander down in the 11th round. But John is not as aggressive in this fight as he was in either of the first 2.
I got to allude to, he looks a little sluggish, a little flat. I don't know if that's the extra weight he's carrying, if he hasn't been used to carrying this weight, and he certainly hasn't in this trilogy.
Well, it's hard for me to believe that that's the case, and I know he's in terrific shape. It's just, maybe it's a fight plan, Carl. But he's got to open up, and he's got to open up soon, because this again is another round that's too close to the ball.
These guys,
you know what the ones that do, they're leaving it in the judge's hands. Is he there to take the round?
That's another mini war won by Holyfield, Colonel. That's what we're talking about. Johnny has got to do the same thing. He's got to respond in the same manner if he intends to retain his championship.
Well, there's another mini war just won in a 3-punch combination by Evander. Johnny's going to have to really turn it up for the last 3 rounds, or he's going to lose his title.
Land a big blow, one or the other.
And how about Evander? I mean, this guy is 39 years old, and he's still hanging in there with a 29-year-old guy. This John going to you know, trying to land the right hand. That I like. It's no time to be cautious. He's almost snuck out Holyfield to make this definitive. And so does Evander at this stage. But Evander's been coming on.
Yes, sir. He's coming on, and Johnny is just beginning to throw more than one punch at a time before he grabs. And that's what he needs to do. You got to get busier.
Well, there's 5 seconds to go in this round, and that's a Holyfield round.
You're putting your heel down first and you're slow.
Well, for the first time in my scorecard, I got this man Evander Holyfield winning now.
Yeah. Let's see what they're saying.
Yeah.
But I agree.
saying the same thing. Just listen to me, okay? Get the weight on the balls of your feet. Keep the weight forward. Do not let this guy get off first. Keep banging him. Keep banging him. Hey.
You just watch him out hustling. That's what you got to watch.
You know, these are the little mini wars we've been talking about all night long. And Johnny has got to turn this thing around if he intends to remain champion. He has to win some of those little mini wars.
Now remember, our score is only an indication of how we see it. We've got Holyfield slightly out in front as you see him out hustling. But Tommy Kazmarek of New Jersey, Julie Letterman of New York, and Donald O'Neill of Florida will do the scoring.
Well, I tell you, they're concerned in Johnny's corner. But you know what? I don't know if he's what's going on here, but as you've seen those little mini wars, he's got to win some of those. He's got to put it all together, and he got to do it right now.
Well, Mark Goldberg has Storm and Stone, and Ruiz's corner. Johnny's okay, and Stoney said, I don't know. Which if you're a Ruiz fan, you got to be concerned. John can't let any one of these 3 rounds get away. He's got to win convincingly. There he goes with the left hook again, and it's all he's done all night. The left hook. There's the right hand straight. Now Evander should be wilting, but he's not. Because John's not pressuring him enough.
And you know what? When you got a fight like this, I tell you what's taking a lot of strength and zapping a lot of that energy is those inner clinches, those holes and power shots like that on top of the head.
No punch, I'm here.
John doesn't seem to have the fire that he had the first 2 fights. And the reason for that is Evander's taking it away from him. This guy is some kind of warrior, is Evander. Here he is, 39 years old, fighting a 29-year-older. And not only is he 39 years old, but he's been in a series of wars in his career.
Yeah, he's fighting like a 19-year-old right now. This guy is just an incredible athlete, period.
John is, look at this, Evander cracked him with a good right hand. And that took a little out of the knees of John. John is weak right now, but he stands right in front and tries to hang on.
Let's go.
And you hear Smoker say, stop holding, stop holding. This is the 10th round. John not getting off first, allowing Evander to do what his corner told him to do, and that's get off first. What is Johnny waiting for?
It looks to me, Colonel, that Evander Holyfield is imposing his will on John Ruiz right now.
Not only does it look like it, he is imposing his will.
And that's what he's doing. And then this title is going to remain here in the New England area. John Ruiz has got to turn it up and turn it up quickly.
Well, Holyfield's in the process of winning this 10th round. John's going to have to knock him out to win the fight. I tell you that. It's too close on and they're leaving it with the judges.
And that's a dangerous thing. In any case, no matter where you are and how it goes down, you want to have some say in the outcome yourself.
The thing is, if all went according to Hoyle, Evander should be running out of gas, and he's not, because Johnny is not imposing his will. 39 seconds ago in the 10th round, and Holyfield is out hustling the 29-year-old kid.
Well, he has some excellent instructions from Kenny Weldon and Don Turner last round to stay on the balls of his feet and put his power forward.
Stay up.
It's another tough round. Here's Johnny trying to battle back now as he bangs Evander. Listen to the crowd. Now they're trading shots, and now it's time to trade shots. But Evander may have got the best of it, but John comes down. This is what they came for, the heavyweight championship of the world. And it's a bare-sex brawl. This is what they came for. The first round of the fight has a shot after the bell. Fire him up, Stoney.
That's right.
Come on, Johnny.
I tell you what, Colonel, now that's the mini war that was won by Ruiz. That's what he has to do for the next 2 rounds in order to retain his world title. He's got to fight like that for the rest of the 6 minutes that's remaining in this match.
You fucking rounds in this fight. 2 rounds. 2 rounds. You gotta pick it up. You hear me? You get 2 rounds, John. 2 rounds. That's it. The championship's good. You got to go out and get this guy.
And let's look at this, Colonel. This is what I'm talking about. Evander's on the attack. Now watch what happens here. You can see, you would see Johnny Ruiz. Now he comes on with the bang in the right ear. Now this is what he has to do.
Well, you know, based on that closing flurry, as I watch it in slow motion, I'm not so sure that Ruiz really took that closing flurry. I scored a 10-9 in favor of Ruiz. Oh, man, Carl, this is just too close. I get the fight dead even after 10 rounds.
Well, you know, we figure we got a 6-minute fight, folks. That's the way you got to look at it.
It's up for grabs. I still think that the judges are going to favor Holyfield if Johnny doesn't knock him down. That's what I think is going to happen. I've been dead even, but we still have those 2 even rounds we short that we know the judges won't. And most likely they give Holyfield because Johnny's been a bit lethargic throughout the course of this fight.
He's been a bit flat, and it doesn't. And right now, to me, it looks like Evander wants it more.
But we'll find out. It's championship time. The last about 5 minutes of this fight are going to tell the story. And for John Ruiz, who must drop this guy. For Evander, all he's going to do is just keep doing what he's doing, just out hustling our box. Johnny waits again.
I don't know what's going on, but you know, Norman Stone in between rounds gave Johnny a big determination, a big motivation. He said, give me 2 more rounds, and it just he's got to put it together, Colonel.
You know, Evander right now, well, his timing isn't what it used to be. He's still slick. He knows about his positioning. He knows about surviving.
And he's leaving it all in the ring. He's giving it all he has.
There's not going to be anything left by Evander after 12 rounds, I'll tell you that. He's not going to have any more in his tank.
You won't see him out later tonight. He's going to bed, folks.
No, John. It's okay. It's okay.
But for Johnny Ruiz, if he wants to be champion, he's got to put him to sleep in the next 5 minutes.
Right now.
Ruiz waiting. He finally stepped up with the jab. Ruiz continues to back off. It's time to go ahead and have the war. It's time to open up. He can't wait anymore. He's going to force the war. See those heads come together?
You got to wonder, Joe Colonel, was the early wars did Johnny start a bit too soon with the exchanges?
Well, yeah. Well, he survived it. I mean, he didn't get really hurt. I mean, this should be Johnny's time, and it's not.
The accumulation of punches, the weirdness, the wrestling, the holding, that wears you down.
As John opens up, lands a couple of shots. He very well may be winning this round because Evander is not as busy. And if we gave Ruiz the last round, I mean, this thing is too close to call.
Well, I tell you, we said it at the top of the show. The first 2 fights were great, and we had no reason to believe that this wouldn't be any different than it is.
It's more of a strategic fight than the first 2. It's not quite the war and the many heavy wars there were in the first 2. But I'll tell you this, with about 15 seconds to go in the 11th round, it's anybody's fight. Ruiz, I think, needs a knockout to win that.
He just may have, and you never know, though, Colonel. But I think you're right about that. But another strong finish is...
He caught Evander at the end, and Evander threw at the end.
This could be a 1-round fight. Colonel. It's right down to the 12th and final round. And maybe, perhaps, who wins this round is heavyweight champion of the world.
You got to go out there just like you did in the last day of practice. Keep the left hand up. 2, 3, 4. No one punches.
And we got to have that left hand up because all this guy's got is that right hand, and he's going to be humming it. Now, hey, you get this guy going.
We touch him in the center. Last one.
Don't let him tie us up. Keep your hands free.
Two jabs.
Keep your hands free.
Combinations.
One more.
Boy, oh boy, Carl, it's an interesting fight. It's a close fight. I got Holyfield out in front by a point going to the 12th and final round.
But it could very well be a point the other way.
Yeah, it could.
It's a close 10.
But remember, the only definitive rounds in the fight were won by Holyfield.
Exactly.
And that's happened on 4 times. So, with that said, I think Holyfield's got a slight edge. Johnny needs to knock him out, or at least knock him down, if it's going to be really close.
Yeah, that will certainly help.
John is not throwing caution to win right now. He should be. He's still waiting.
It's been a lethargic performance by him, and you just don't understand why, because this is not the normal John Ruiz that we're used to seeing.
So he punches, he I'd be trying to get away, get him off me so I can land more.
And just give it all you got. Leave it right there. There's no tomorrow. This is it.
You know, the left hook has landed on many occasions. Some of the judges think that left hook has been powerful enough to give him some rounds. It's close, otherwise Evander's out-hustled him. And that's, 1 or 2 points that make the difference in this one for sure. But look at this. This isn't the great finishing round we expected.
No, and now when you suspect that it's as close as we suspect it to be, you would think these guys would be going at each other like two Bengal tigers. I think their heads collided.
And Evander does look aging to me in a lot of ways, but he's doing enough to out-hustle John Ruiz, who may be going through the last couple of minutes of his championship.
Oh,
unless he loads up a big shot.
That's right, and he needs to do it, and I'll tell you what, he has no time to waste getting it off.
Now, Johnny, both guys have worked extremely hard for 39-year-old Holyfield. It's been difficult, and he's out-hustled the champion of the world with a minute and a half to go. Johnny needs a knockout, in my opinion, to win this fight. But it's still too close to call. Evander bangs him again, clips him again. This is turning into a Holyfield round. He get caught real good that time. John's legs are staggering, very, very loose in the knee. Evander might be able to drop him now. Johnny's legs are really loose.
Bleeding
in the knee.
profusely from the nose. See, his legs
are gone.
Yeah, look at his nose is bleeding profusely.
He's got a broken nose for sure. Evander cracked him on that nose and broke his nose. Evander has out-hustled him in the last round. And he knows it. Evander knows with the last minute to go, he's got to win.
Don't punch, don't punch.
Boy, this is tough. 34 seconds, 33. Has Evander Holyfield become the 5-time heavyweight champion of the world? He's beaten Johnny Ruiz in the 12th round badly.
It appears to be that way, but those early rounds, it's tough to call, Colonel, but I think that Evander's done enough to pull it out. Or Johnny has not done enough to get the job done, maybe a better way to phrase that.
Closing seconds of the fight, we're going to have a new champion.
Yeah.
No. It's all over. A brilliant performance by Evander Holyfield.
And look at it.
I got a score count, 116-114 for Evander Holyfield. Remember, I had 2 rounds and I scored even. So we'll see how the judges see it. But I think, from what I've seen, that Evander Holyfield out-hustled Johnny Ruiz. And we'll see.
Kenny.
We'll see how the judges see it. Remember, the judges, Tommy Kazmarek and Julie Letterman, won't have even rounds. I had 2 even. And if that's the case, Evander could have won it by as many as 4 points.
Yeah, this is one of those kind of fights, in my opinion, that the scoring is probably...
On the other hand, if they saw those 2 rounds in Ruiz's favor, which I seriously doubt, we got a draw. But I doubt that. I mean, that's hoping at the best for the audience that's in attendance here in Boston.
It's pretty quiet in here.
And this is the drama and why they don't put the scores up. Because we're in the hometown of John Ruiz in a very close fight, which I think most people believe Evander Holyfield has won. But I'm hoping and praying that John may have eked it out. I don't see it myself. I think Holyfield has won the title for the 5th time.
I just think that John's performance was flat tonight, Colonel. He was lethargic. He just didn't have the zip, the zap, the energy. I can't explain it. It's not the John Ruiz that I expected to see. It's not the one we've been seeing. And I tell you what, Evander Holyfield, that's it right there. It's a real deal. He's a true warrior.
By the way, the American commentator, Harold Letterman, who's a former judge, has it a draw, which we can see. We can see that. I mean, it's that close, because don't forget, I have the 2 even rounds. Now, Harold wouldn't score the even rounds if he gave those to Johnny. Oh, we were talking about a draw in the 6th round.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But they're taking an unusual amount of time to total up these scorecards.
But they've been doing that all night, too, as well. And they want to make sure that the right announcement is made, that there's no mathematical mistakes or errors, because this thing could, that could be disastrous.
In the rounds that I saw, the definitive rounds, the only definitive rounds in the fight were won by Evander, in my opinion.
I agree. And
The rounds that Johnny may have won were really close rounds, if in fact he won those. Jimmy Lennon is moving in a position. Well, you know, when you take a look back at the 6th round that we talked about, a draw, it's not out of the question.
No, it's not, but, you know, that's
again, you know, when I hear Harold Letterman of the United States out of the draw, it makes me wonder how the judges have it. And you could have a split decision draw. One guy could have had it, even one guy could have had it one way, one guy the other. We're going to find out very shortly.
It's amazing. Simply amazing.
Jimmy Lennon is in position. I'll tell you this, if Johnny does get lucky and get the draw, this crowd will be thrilled. Because remember, he retains the championship with the draw.
With the draw, he does.
That's good enough for him to sneak away, and they won't do this a 4th time.
No, that was clear. I think neither one guy wants to see.
Here we go. Here's Jimmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. Here is the judge's decision. Judge at ringside, Julie Letterman scores about 116 to 112 in favor of Evander Holyfield. Judge at ringside, Don O'Neill scores about 115 to 113 in favor of Johnny Ruiz. Judge at ringside, Tommy Kazmarek scores about 114, 114, even a draw. The decision is even a draw. The champion retains his title.
He got the break. Wow. And I told you about the home crowd and the possible influence on the judges. It was too close for us to call. We had it slightly one way, but I'm not surprised at all that it came out a draw. And for Evander, it's got to be tremendously disappointing. And for, okay, Mark Goldberg, take it away. You've got Evander.
All right, thank you very much, Colonel. Evander, I know how disappointed you were after the 2nd fight. How disappointed are you now?
Well, it's the same thing, When you go down to decision, the judge make the decision. There's things you have to live with.
But you had to feel that you were in control of this fight most of the night.
Well, I know I was in control. Me knowing that I'm in control don't change, it is not going to change the judge's decision, that's something I just have to overcome.
You were in great shape, 39 years old. You went the distance. Could you have gone another round or two?
Of course I could. I did what I had to do, and and I worked hard. And one thing in life and stuff, it's just another obstacle you have to overcome.
Well, we had one judge having you up by 4 points, and then all of a sudden it ends up in a draw. I know. I mean, I'm trying to get a disappointment out of you, but I guess I'm not going to get it.
Well, it was, I just work. The thing is, I get back in line, and I just have to work harder.
You going to continue?
Of course I am.
Yeah, but obviously there's not a 4th fight for you two guys, so where do you go from there?
Well, I just wait in line, and whatever the ranking, I wait till my time, and when the time comes, I do what I have to do.
Do you think you had him hurt at all?
Well, I had him hurt. He was able to hold and clinch. He's a smart fighter.
Evander, thank you very much. It was a great night for you for 12 rounds. Thank you very much. Evander Holyfield, we're going to get John Ruiz over here. Evander? Let's see if we can go over here and get John Ruiz.
Well, this is a class act, and I'll tell you, a real class act in Evander, because I'm disappointed for him because his effort was supreme.
You know what? He's a consummate professional, and you got to just take your hat off to a guy like that. Because in my opinion, I thought he did enough to win it, but you know what? I've never been real good at this judging.
But a couple of things to point out, Carl. We did have the 2 rounds that we had, even, which I know the judges didn't score. So that would have made my score right in line with Tommy Kazmarek. I would have actually had it a draw, even though I felt Evander was coming on. And remember when I said after the 6th round that these rounds are too close to call, they're leaving it in the hands of the judges, and when you do that, the champion retained his title on the draw, and that's a big break for John. And the other outstanding factor that we didn't talk about is the tremendous noise in here rooting for John. So anything that John did becomes a positive factor for the judges, and they do react to that. Ali stole rounds with 20-second flurries at the end of his rounds. And okay, Mark is ready with John, so let's go to Mark Goldberg.
All right, thanks a lot, Colonel. John, I just asked Evander. I just asked Evander if he was disappointed. I'm going to ask you if you are shocked or surprised at this.
No, you know what I mean? I'm more disappointed that I couldn't do enough. You know what I mean? I was open for the knockout. You know what I mean? I just gotta keep working, and you know, it's something that's all I have to do. You know what I mean? Just keep working and leave it up to the judges. I mean, that's all I could do.
Well, the judges obviously judged it the way they saw it, but I have to ask you. You looked a little sluggish tonight. You didn't look like the same Ruiz from fights 1 and 2. Were you feeling okay? Anything going on?
You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't have your best game on, you know what I mean? But today, you know what I mean, it was just something that I just had to go work through it and just keep working and you know, and I used to come on top.
I know you said the best that you had came out in the last 3 rounds. Do you think that's what saved the fight for you?
It could have been. You know what I mean? I wasn't listening to my corner. You know, I feel bad for that, you know what I mean, because they know what they were talking about. And as soon as they decided to tell me, yeah, you forget about going out there and knocking them out. Just go out there and box them. That's what I intended to do, you know, and then I started getting my momentum.
Yeah, it looked like it took you a long, long time to get into aggressiveness tonight.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Things happen like that, you know what I mean, where, like I said, you don't have your best game on, but sometimes you got to work through it.
Well, we got 2 great fights out of there, and then the third one is a draw, and you walk away, you still have the belt. Of course, you got a broken nose, too, don't you?
Yeah. You know, it got to come with it comes with the game. I mean, you got to get your hands dirty once in a while.
It did feel good, though, because, you know, 95% of this house was rooting for you tonight, and that had to stir you on a little bit.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I wasn't quite as focused as I was in the last 2 rounds, but thank goodness for my corner, you know what I mean, to wake me up and tell me to go out there and box, and that's what I did.
Stoney, what did you guys learn from winning a fight like this?
I got a heart.
Yeah.
Too much on it. You know what I mean? You know, a lot of punches he threw, Johnny blocked a lot. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that they had 3 referees. Usually you get 2 that go the other way, but Johnny blocked a lot of those shots. You know, he hit Evander with the more solid punches. Mm-hmm. You know, Evander forced the fight. Johnny gave it to him. There's no doubt about it. He forced the fight. Johnny gave it to him. You know, he broke his nose in the first round. It was tough for him to breathe. I mean, it shattered.
First round?
I mean, yeah, first round. And an elbow again. You know that. You can look at it. And we couldn't do anything about it. You know, if I start working on it, he knows his nose is broke. Then he wins. He gets winded and winded. Listen, we get out of it. We'll go on to bigger and better things. Evander's a great, great champion. I think he's the best that ever stepped into the ring. You know, I think HBO is it Don King. Without Don King, nothing happens.
All right, thanks a lot.
Don King is our man.
Well, I'll tell you something. Congratulations for going through this and keeping the belt. And I'm going to tell you something. We weren't aware that his nose was broken in the first round, Colonel. And I'll tell you, that has to really set the tone for the rest of the fight. Now maybe we know why he looked the way he looked. But in any event, we got a draw, and Johnny Ruiz keeps the belt. Colonel, back to you.
Well, thank you, and a very gracious Johnny Ruiz, who caught a break tonight to retain the heavyweight championship of the world in what I would call a controversial draw. But nonetheless, some days you get the bear, and some days the bear gets you. Tonight was Johnny Ruiz's night in his hometown, and the hometown crowd influenced the judges, I am sure of that, and gave Johnny the break. Johnny Ruiz retains the WBA heavyweight championship of the world on a very close draw over Evander Holyfield. Tim Austin wins a unanimous decision for the IBF Bantamweight Championship of the world. I want to thank our associate producers, Ira Glass and Randall B. Jones. Our producer, Johnny Perez. Great job, and our director, John DeLisa. I want to take the opportunity to wish everybody season's greetings, whether you celebrate Kwanzaa, Ramadan, Hanukkah, or Christmas. Have a merry, merry Christmas, happy and healthy New Year. For our Latin countries, Feliz Navidad, y Prospero Año Nuevo. For our executive producer, Rafael Torres. For Carl King and Mark Goldberg, and our entire production staff here at King Vision, I'm the Colonel saying, so long, everybody, from the United States of America. Good night, everybody.